For over 2 centuries, the geography of the United States was the ultimate geographic hack. It provided a physical foundation so perfectly arranged that it almost feels like it was manifested through a video game. A landmass stretching across an entire continent and flanked by two massive oceans to create a fortress of unparalleled geographic diversity. From the heavily indented Atlantic shoreline to the Appalachian Mountains, an ancient geographic spine running from Maine to Georgia, the land effectively sealed off the eastern seaboard from the vastness of the interior. But the true secret to the continent's potential lies just beyond those mountains, the Mississippi River watershed. Imagine a massive branching tree of water with thousands of tributaries flowing from the edges of the continent right through its heart. This network sits atop thousands of miles of deep, rich soil, a volume of flat, temperate land unmatched anywhere else on the planet. This gentle expanse eventually shatters against the Rocky Mountains, the jagged and imposing titans that act as the continent's Great Divide. Reaching heights over 14,000 feet, this wall of rock and ice dictates weather patterns for the entire landmass. Crossing the Rockies reveals a landscape of stark contrasts, including the Great Basin, where water flows in but never out, creating alien landscapes of blinding white salt flats. Along the Pacific, moisture-laden air feeds the tallest trees on the planet, the redwoods and sequoias. And then there's the colossal reality of the Arctic. If you dropped Alaska on top of the contiguous US, it would stretch from the Atlantic to the Pacific, from Denali rising like a frozen god to the tropical isolation of Hawaii. The physical geography of the United States was a masterpiece of natural engineering. This geographic lottery wasn't just admired, it was weaponized to build a superpower. The Mississippi River system provided the greatest natural transportation network on Earth, a pre-built superhighway that allowed Americans to effortlessly float cargo from the interior to the global market at virtually zero cost. This facilitated the rise of the American breadbasket, where nutrient-rich topsoil allowed the U.S. to aggressively feed the rest of the world. As the country pushed west, settlers struck pay dirt, extracting mountains of gold and silver that funded the Industrial Revolution and built metropolises overnight. Finally, the land provided energy, high-quality coal from the Appalachians, and oceans of oil from Texas to Alaska, providing the abundant, cheap power required to outproduce the world. But today, the geographic machine is breaking down. The Colorado River, which miraculously greened millions of acres of desert, is quite literally running out of water. Lake Mead and Lake Powell are flirting with Deadpool status, the point where water no longer flows through the dams. This crisis extends to the Ogallala Aquifer beneath the Great Plains, where we are mining fossil water faster than nature can replenish it. This extraction has triggered land subsidence, causing cities like Houston to sink by more than 10 feet in some neighborhoods. All along the eastern seaboard, from Virginia to New York, the land is buckling downward as aquifers are drained. In Oklahoma, the geography has been weaponized against itself as fracking waste injections trigger thousands of earthquakes in a once quiet prairie. To the west, the receding Great Salt Lake is exposing toxic lake beds laced with arsenic, which the wind carries into the lungs of millions. This aridification has turned western forests into a continental tinderbox, with megafires now ravaging even the damp rainforests of the Pacific Northwest. Meanwhile, the Mississippi River is carrying millions of tons of toxic fertilizer into the Gulf of Mexico, creating a dead zone the size of New Jersey. On the coasts, nuisance flooding now pushes salt water up through storm drains on perfectly sunny days, erasing the map foot by foot. But the most terrifying breakdown is in the north, where Alaskan permafrost is collapsing. As the ice melts, the ground caving in creates drunken trees and splitting highways while releasing massive reserves of methane. For 200 years, this geography was an impenetrable fortress of abundance. But after centuries of relentless mining and taming, the United States is finally facing a massive geographic reckoning.